you ever wanted to add some unique and beautiful flowers to your home decor without breaking the bank? Well, then foraging for flowers might be the perfect fit for you. Hey everyone, I'm Stacy and I love growing flowers and making arrangements, but not all of us have access to a cutting garden. So today I'm sharing some tips on how to forage for flowers safely and sustainably. In case you're new here, I live and grow expansive gardens here in New Jersey, Zone 6B. I've been gardening for well over 25 years. Yikes. And I love to share my gardens plus easy tips and tricks so you can learn how to grow and enjoy flowers too. One of the things I love to do is to make flower arrangements for my home, friends, and family. Because I have a hard time cutting flowers from my garden, I started growing a cut flower garden several years ago. If you're not familiar what a cut flower garden is, it's a dedicated space where you grow flowers with the specific intention of cutting them. And because I have such a hard time cutting my flowers from the landscape, I started growing a cutting garden so that it would almost force me to cut flowers and enjoy them in arrangements, because the more you cut, the more blooms you'll have. But I digress. Today we're talking about foraging for flowers. Whether you have a cut flower garden or not, you can still create beautiful arrangements just by heading out to your landscape or at a friend's house and forage for beautiful flowers and branches and other things in your locality. So why forage for flowers? Foraging for flowers isn't just about finding free blooms. It's fun to deepen your appreciation for nature, reduce your environmental impact, and tap into your creativity. And I mean, come on, who doesn't love having fun with flowers? Plus, foraged flowers often have unique shapes, colors, textures that you won't find in a typical florist bouquet. It's also a great way to level up your home decor without the need to grow everything in your own garden. So for those without a dedicated cutting garden, this is for you. So the first step to foraging for flowers is to find a good location. Look for public lands or your own property with a variety of wildflowers. Be sure to avoid foraging in areas that have been treated with pesticides or herbicides, and make sure you are not cutting from someone else's property. When picking flowers, it's important to be respectful of the environment. Only take what you need and avoid overpicking any one species. If you're unsure whether a plant is safe to pick, leave it be. It's also a good idea to be aware of what is invasive in your regions. Things like bittersweet can be problematic when birds snack on the seeds and spread them around as they fly. The best time to forage for flowers is in the morning after the dew has dried, but before the sun gets too hot. And I mean, who wants to be out cutting flowers and working in the gardens in the middle of the day anyway, in the middle of summer? Am I right? It's just like, at least I know here in New Jersey, it's really hot and really humid, and I would much prefer to work in the mornings. Well, that is the best time for you to get outside and forage for flowers too. When I'm foraging, I always keep an eye out for a variety of shapes and textures and colors so that I can create the most interesting arrangement. This is where the thriller, filler, and spiller method of design comes into play. So thrillers are your statement flowers. They're tall, they're eye-catching, and they're really just spectacular. Things like sunflowers, dahlias, delphiniums, snapdragons, anything that gives you that height and drama, that's considered thriller. Fillers are bushy, mid-height plants that add volume and texture. Think about things like Queen Anne's lace, zinnias, or asters. And spillers are trailing or cascading plants that soften the edges of your arrangement, like ivy or sweet alyssum. But I'll even sometimes use things like amaranth or celosia or any kind of a branch from a tree that has like a weeping effect, maybe something like forsythia or nine bark. You can really just pull some really cool, unique arrangements together just by looking around your yard. Some common summer wildflowers you might find include Queen Anne's lace, black-eyed Susan, coneflowers, goldenrod, please only get non-invasive only, wild asters, and milkweed. When I'm out there looking around, I also love to grab branches with interesting color, shapes, and textures. So things like Japanese maples, nine bark, again, viburnums. They're really beautiful foliage and they add a lot of texture to bouquets. You could also look for interesting foliage plants like ferns, grasses, things with beautiful foliage, color, berries, seed pods to add variety and texture to your arrangements. For a visually interesting arrangement, vary the size and height of your flowers and foliage. Play with symmetry to create a natural look, and don't be afraid to experiment with different textures either. Combine smooth petals with rough bark or delicate ferns for a truly unique bouquet. Not much is needed to create stunning bouquets, and you probably already have a lot of these items on hand already. You ready? Grab your pen and paper or make some notes in your phone. Let's go. You'll need sharp snips or pruners, bucket or vase for the foraged flowers and branches, a vessel to hold your arrangement, floral frog, floral tape, or biodegradable floral foam to anchor the bloom. Of course, you can always freewheel it too, depending on the container that you're using. So, decide what works best for you. When choosing your container, select a vessel that complements the size and style of your flowers. A clear glass vase lets the stem show, while a ceramic or woven basket adds like a rustic touch. Whatever you decide to use, make sure you're starting with a clean vessel. For my arrangement today, I'm using this beautiful vintage fluted bowl with biodegradable floral foam to anchor the flowers. So before we get started arranging, gently remove any leaves that will fall below the waterline in your vase. Give the stems a fresh snip at an angle to maximize water uptake. And just a little side tip, whenever I'm out there foraging for flowers and foliage in my landscape, I like to bring a bucket of water or a vase filled with water with me so I can immediately plunge those cuts into them while I'm gathering. This helps keep your cuts hydrated so they don't wilt before you've had a chance to make your arrangement. remember, there are no hard and fast rules in flower arranging. Let your creativity flow, have fun experimenting with different blooms, branches, vines, petals, greenery, shapes, berries, you name it, and just play around with those combinations. That's where the fun is. At the end of the day, foraging for flowers is a great way to connect with nature and create beautiful arrangements for your home on a dime. So next time you're out and about, keep an eye out for those wildflowers. I hope you enjoyed these tips on foraging for flowers. Remember to be respectful of the environment and have fun. And that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me in the gardens today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more flower content. And let me know in the comments below what your favorite flowers are to forage for. That's a real tongue twister. That was a real tongue twister, isn't it? I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy a beautiful day.